Zelensky has thrown down an unexpected gauntlet, accepting Trump's challenge and declaring Ukraine ready for elections even under fire. With missiles still falling, soldiers scattered across trenches, and millions displaced. Kyiv now asks Washington and Europe to guarantee the security of a wartime vote. The move raises a sharper question. Is this democratic resolve or pressure politics reshaping a nation at war? Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has made a bold announcement saying he is ready to hold wartime elections within 3 months if Ukraine's parliament and Western allies provide security guarantees. Zelensky was responding to US President Donald Trump's criticism that Kyiv had not held elections during the war.
I will say frankly that I am ready for the elections. If there is a question that we are clinging to power, or I am personally, and therefore the war does not come to an end, this is an absolutely inadequate story. To hold the elections, there are 2 questions. First of all, security. How to do it. How to do it under the strikes, under the missiles, and in relation to our troops. The question is, how to vote. You know it, I don't want to repeat. I am ready for the elections. Moreover, I ask now, and I declare it openly, the United States of America to help me, including together with European colleagues, ensure security for the elections. And then, in the next 60-90 days, Ukraine will be ready to hold the elections.
Trump questioned Ukraine's democratic credentials in an interview with Politico published on December 9th, saying the country has not held elections in a long time and suggesting the war is being used to avoid them. He added that elections could even confirm support for Zelensky, though he said he did not know who would win.
They haven't had an election in a long time. You know, they talk about a democracy, but it gets to a point where it's not a democracy anymore.
Zelensky, clearly irritated by Trump's intervention, said the matter was a question for the people of Ukraine, not people from other states.
I want to say that I haven't discussed elections. Second, the question of the elections in Ukraine, I think, depends on our people. And this is a question of the people of Ukraine, and not the people of other countries, with all due respect to our partners.
The Ukrainian president's 5-year term expired in May last year, but Ukraine's constitution prohibits elections during martial law. Even opposition politicians have said repeatedly that security and political considerations do not allow for holding elections whilst the country remains at war. Zelensky said the 2 key questions to resolve would be the logistics of how soldiers, millions of displaced people, and those living under occupation would vote, and how to hold elections legally given martial law remains in effect. The comments come as the White House has increased pressure on Kyiv to sign up to a peace deal. The Financial Times reported on December 9th that US negotiators have given Zelensky days to respond to a peace proposal requiring Ukraine to accept territorial losses to Russia in exchange for unspecified security guarantees, with Trump reportedly hoping to reach a deal by Christmas. Meanwhile, European capitals fear Trump is growing so impatient with the lack of progress in peace talks that he may walk away from the negotiations process, assigning blame to Ukraine and Europe for standing in the way of a deal, according to CNN. A senior US official told the television channel that the situation is challenging for Ukraine, which is incrementally losing strategic ground in the east. Trump's son, Donald Trump Jr., said at a conference in Doha over the weekend that Zelensky was prolonging the war because he was worried he would otherwise lose power, and suggested Trump might walk away from Ukraine if the war does not end soon. When asked about his son's claim, Trump said it was not correct, but not exactly wrong. Zelensky said that Ukraine would do whatever it could to organize a high-level meeting with the US within the next 2 weeks on a peace deal. He said a new version of Ukraine's peace plan would be handed over to the US on December 10th, adding that Kyiv was ready for an energy ceasefire if Russia agrees.
Security guarantees are an important document between us and the United States of America, between us and the Europeans. The third document is restoration. Someone says that this is the economic development of Ukraine. This is restoration. Of course, this is a project that must work after the war is over or there will be a ceasefire.